Hi, I'm Dr. Neil Cox from the Literature Department at the University of Reading. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes talking about some of the research my colleagues have undertaken here over the last kind of 12 months or so, I guess. We're quite a large department, and that means if you have a particular area of interest, there's going to be one of my colleagues publishing in that area. And that makes for a really amazing experience because you'll actually be in seminars and engaging with academics who are at the cutting edge of their chosen field of study. Here's an example. My colleague Dr. Nicola Abraham, who teaches throughout the 3 years as we all do, but teaches one particular module in the third year, an optional module on Black British fiction. She just won the Society for Theatre Research's 2021 Book Prize for her book Black British Women's Theatre, Intersectionality, Archives and Aesthetics. So when you are engaged with that module, if you choose it, with Nicola, you are engaging with the world-leading expert in that area who is knowledgeable and inspiring and enthusiastic about that area of study in a way that no one else really is. That's the great thing about coming to university and studying literature. To take another example, Professor Brian Shea has just published with Oxford University Press The Ghetto, a short introduction. It's the latest in really an extraordinary range of publications from Brian, over 10 books, with kind of Yale and hugely internationally significant scholarship. Brian also teaches on the really popular module on Holocaust fiction. So in studying with Brian, you're going to be engaging in literary debates and research with someone who is really at the total top of their game in terms of the subject area, and the experience really is kind of second to none. It really is an incredible thing. Staying with Oxford University Press, my colleague Aisling Byrne has published Other Worlds, Fantasy and History in Medieval Literature. Aisling teaches on, again throughout the 3 years, but teaches a third year module on medieval otherworlds, where you kind of explore that rich literature of medieval fantasy and think about how those kind of texts and narratives have had a shaping influence even to the literature of today. John Scholar, also for Oxford University Press, has published on Henry James and the Art of the Impression. John's interest there is in the intersection between art and literature, and that's something that's a real feature of our department. We're really interested in those points where a study of literature hits kind of the study of other disciplines. Professor Andrew Mangum has recently published on The Science of Starvation, a book that can be seen as a really important work for the emerging discipline of the economic humanities, thinking about the interrelation between literature and economics. But we're also interested in the medical humanities. We're interested in the meeting points between film and literature, between philosophy and literature, between art and literature. I myself have just published a book with my colleague Dr. Stephen Thompson on the controversial writer Ayn Rand. It's a kind of a critique of her work, but again that falls within the field of the economic humanities. Now, if I listed all my colleagues and their publications, this would be a very long video, so I'm going to kind of stop here. But just before I go, I just want to point out that much of our research is not simply monographs by world-leading publishers like kind of Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, Yale, and the rest of it. Our publications also, our outputs can also be about creativity. In the same way, when you work with us at the university, certain of your modules will be kind of exam-based and certain others will be essay-based, and there'll be a kind of long dissertation, but we also get you to publish your own books, create your own books, explore blogs, explore different creative ways of actually submitting work. In the same way, many of my colleagues are engaged in creative outputs, and not only my amazing colleagues in the creative writing department, Shelley Harris and Connor Carville and Peter Robinson, Kate Clancy, but also, for example, my colleague Yasmin Sharma, as well as her amazing academic publications. She's involved in projects such as Making a Home Away from Home as part of the Being Human Festival, and it's kind of almost like an art installation. Yasmin teaches on the Me Too module, but also is very interested in refugee narratives, and that's something she explores in her teaching. And the exhibition was of a tent that was part of a refugee camp, a Syrian refugee camp. And often when these are kind of encountered, you know, it's often through kind of the media or on TV programs, and you'll just see the tents from the outside, and Yasmin invites us into one of these tents, and we can see it from a new perspective, from a different angle, and new understandings come from that. New perspectives, new angles, new understandings is what the study of literature is about. And if you come and study with us, we hope to explore these differences, different perspectives, different understandings with you, and share our research with you as well.